we're heating up 4 parts water, and we're going to bring that to a boil. And I put another 2 parts of water here, and I just made sure that it was warm, but it doesn't have to be hot. And now I'm going to put 1 part of flour in the 2 parts of water. And I use this crappy bleached flour because it's not good for anything else. Hey James, you want to be my assistant? So you slowly add in the flour. We're trying to get it to completely dissolve with no clumps. Oh. A lot slower than that. Is boiling, and we've almost dissolved all the flour in the other pot, so I'm going to turn this down to a simmer. So medium to low heat. And then we're going to add this mixture into the water that has just boiled. It's important to totally dissolve your flour in the water so there's no clumps. So I'm going to wait for this to cool down just a little bit more.
Is this supposed to be your version of slowly, or?
The real version of slowly. You can see how much thicker this mix is getting when you add the dissolved flour into the water that has boiled. And it's important to go slowly because it will clump up again if you pour it in too quickly. But you can see how much thicker it's getting very quickly. Next we're going to add this dried milk, and we're going to dilute it in water first. So I've put 2 parts water in here. Okay, you ready to mix? So we're going to rehydrate this dried milk in the water. This is a lot easier to mix in than the flour is. I'm going to put in 2 parts dried milk to 2 parts water. You can never really have too much dried milk. The dried milk is going to act as another binder for our wheat paste primer. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to add this milk into the wheat paste. The milk is going to act as another binder, as well as the flour does, for the primer coat that we're going to put on the drywall before we put on earthen paints or plasters. Okay. So the next step is we're going to add sand to the wheat paste and the milk. And we use sand because it creates some texture behind the paint, and also because it allows for the paint to have more surface to grip on. So I'm going to add 2 parts sand into the wheat paste and dried milk. And typically you want to have pots especially for making paint, because if you use your cooking pots then you end up having sand everywhere. It's not the best situation. This adding sand, it works best if you have an electronic mixer or a mixer like this, because it will allow the sand particles to be suspended in the primer instead of just falling to the bottom. Okay, your primer is ready to be applied to the walls.